Hey, good morning.
Hi, hello. Good to see you.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. I could not be more thrilled to be sitting here today with Heike. She is one of the most incredible women I've had the pleasure of spending time with.
Oh, thank you.
Really incredible. She is there's a lot of acronyms here, so bear with me, the VP and CLO at SAP. And what I love about Heike is she is at the intersection of technology and learning. You're responsible for everything having to do with technology learning for SAP. And she is not a dinosaur. You may hear SAP, you may hear that she's been at SAP for 20 years, but what's amazing about Heike is you have sat in sales, services, engineering, and the perspective that you bring to technology learning is incredible.
Thank you so much, Anita.
Yes, yes. So talk to us about how you're seeing technology learning evolve with the growth of SAP over the time that you've been there.
It's a fantastic journey to take engineers, or to learn from engineers, what they want to learn. The interesting observation is you can bring prescriptive programs to employees, and you will never hit the mark with the tech folks that are here in the room. They tell you what they need. So they are much faster in any way I can conceive a general program. So the advantage is that I learn from them what they need, but what I bring to the table, I can share with them what the challenge will be in terms of meeting customer needs. I mean, every engineer wants to be successful and wants to meet a certain business or personal target. The target meets at the customer front end. So if you're part of a large IT organization, you understand to listen to customer needs, and you listen to requirements they have in a changing business environment. And then you map those requests into what you see and perceive to be relevant for potential educational purposes of engineers. Would I dare to prescribe what learning should be? I would entirely fail my position and my role.
This is what I love about Heike with your customer success background, is that you are looking at engineers like our customer. This is a note for all of our peers in learning and in people in HR functions, is that we cannot prescribe what the engineer needs.
Correct. By the time I've picked up on the technology, most of you tell me you're too late.
We hate being late to the party.
So, and we hate that, but what we can bring is we can bring certain process expertise, and we can raise business visibility. So bringing in Pluralsight, just to pick up the example here, was actually done by colleagues out of development. They were individual learners paying their private money to work on a Pluralsight license, and I realized this is probably not the way to be most efficient in a larger enterprise. So we figured out a way of finally getting a corporate agreement, and I'm happy to announce that as of July we have a corporate agreement, which is legally compliant. You may remember SAP is Germany-based, so co-determination is essential, data protection is essential, so it's an embedded platform through single sign-on in the overall learning infrastructure, and you know SAP is pretty rich on a learning infrastructure, so that was essential to us, and the licenses just flew out.
Yes.
So it's really successful.
So similar to what we heard from Target and T-Mobile yesterday, they're saying, don't take away my Pluralsight.
Correct. They keep on hammering, we want more, can you do this, can you be more flexible? But this is then where a central learning team can really help facilitating things. And what I also like, okay, it's the positive feedback from the learner that makes it all reality. But as a leader, I have also other challenges and KPIs to meet. I need to monitor to a certain degree. I want to understand what the consumption looks like, and the backend that you're offering, the analytics portion, is just fantastic, and it really serves what we need.
Yes. Talk a little bit more about the KPIs that you're seeing Pluralsight help you achieve.
It's about, we heard some of the functions being introduced yesterday, is the opportunity of really going for channels. So aligning content according to learning requirements we see in-house, according to business priorities. That's a definite advantage. And the other feature that's outstanding is giving technologists the opportunity to self-assess. So they keep their autonomy, to self-assess, to understand what they bring to the table already, and they determine the gap closing requirements on their own. That's what I mean with don't be prescriptive. Give them the opportunity, and they will pick up as they go anyway.
Yes. I want to give everybody a sense for the scale that Heike is operating with. So when she started at SAP, there were 20,000 team members. Today, there's over 90,000 team members. Heike, you're responsible for the learning journeys of over 50,000 team members. How have you seen that evolve? What's changed for you as the scale has gotten bigger?
Yeah, my paradigm shift was significant. So keeping the balance between what is really relevant, but also what is the speed I can go versus what is the speed I can enforce on learners. So pace, we have been hearing quite a bit about pace in the past 2 days. That's essential. And then the other element is the scale. You mentioned the gap between 20,000 versus 94,000 people. So of course we are operating through 180 countries. That makes it significant that we scale beyond pure classroom approaches and can have blended approaches. Because in the various development locations that we run, people have different focus on different topics. So again, that's where a virtual platform can be of real substance to balance out the various requirements. Nonetheless, you require curation in order to make sure it fits the overall business strategy.
Yes. One of the things that, Heike, you mentioned at the CLO panel that was on Tuesday is the importance of relevance, scale, and speed.
Correct.
Talk a little bit more about those pieces and how you see them so important with the pace of change.
Yeah, I think where the role of a CLO starts is being a front runner in understanding certain trends and what's ahead. And in terms of what's ahead for a workforce. That's probably why learning usually is fully related to HR. I'm in the preferred situation that I'm running in a federated role. So I have a background in development. I understand how engineers work. I know how to ask the right questions so that they tell me what they need. But I also understand the goals of the services side. That's a big advantage. So I can balance what is really relevant. And what I also learned in terms of making scale possible is building a story. Just don't accumulate content. Don't just build stuff and put it out there and then let it sit somewhere. You need to engage. You need to make sure people see the relevance. So you introduced Role IQ. We do something similar. We do role-based stories, and we try to have showcases with individual learners to make it more tangible. What can you get out of dedicated offerings, and why are they valuable? If you permit one example on the services side, we started a large business transformation 2 years ago. That's probably touching 25% of the entire population. So I had the lead time of 3 months to build an entire content transformational program for 5 different business roles. And within 6 months, we were engaging 1,500 to 1,800 people in learning.
Wow.
So that's about relevance, understanding business priorities. They come from the customer perspective, and then tailor the offerings so that people can understand, if I take a learning journey, this is potentially the skill set I am adopting, and that's why how it will change my future behavior and my future impact in projects.
What's so inspiring to me about this is, Heike, you're not afraid of speed. You're going to push a pilot, and you're going to get the change to happen fast, which I think for us, in looking at SAP and the sheer size, we assume you operate slow. Talk about how you see speed and how you ship quickly to our customer, being the engineers and the technologists.
Yeah, speed is the thing where you need to be very conscientious about yourself and partially judgmental, because you need to allow yourself to run risks. Speed means that you have to give focus. You select certain spearheading topics, and ideally you select members to pilot elements with. And then you're in the running and the winning game, because the feedback is driving the ultimate result of future adoption of content.
Yes, so I love this. I asked Heike the question, how do you know? What's your KPI if you're succeeding? I'd love the audience to hear your answer.
My KPI is a very humble one, if people come back. I can do the number crunching, I do data analytics, of course everybody does that, but you all do that too. For me, my benchmark is, do specifically colleagues in the development space, do they come back? Do they ask for advice? And interestingly enough, I realized that next to all the tech skills that are in core focus here, there is another dimension which starting to become hot again, so-called, formerly called soft skills.
Oh.
So the other part of professional skills. I don't like the word soft any longer because it would mean that the other stuff is the hard one. They're equally relevant. So the moment when you are being asked, can you give me listening skills? How do I acquire them? What do I need to learn? Can I go about it? I realized, okay, I have come full circle where certain elements that I've been implementing, embedding in the background in the past, and now eventually through storytelling, learners see there might be a reason why this is out there. Probably I need to start a conversation and better see what can I do with this kind of content.
Yes, I always believe that soft skills are actually hard. People are afraid to do those things more often than not. What is your advice? You know, you've sat with the business, you sat separate from the business. It's been a big topic, right? Do the learning leaders sit with or aside? What are your thoughts?
I couldn't do what I'm doing now without having spent that many years in the business. That's definitely an advantage. But I call onto the population here in the room, whenever you have an opportunity to work with HR, do that. I know that specifically developers believe HR is a kind of a side function. Well, if you don't tell them what you need, it will never get any better, any different. But on the other hand, you can also fully rely on HR to make people processes work for you. Don't underestimate that. That's much bigger, specifically if an organization grows. I think Pluralsight has been through that experiences already, as
Every
you know.
day.
Absolutely. So same when you grow, make sure you can share your expertise with people that you feel they're a back office, they're central. If you don't bring your expertise to them, it probably won't improve. So for me, sitting at the cornerstone, at the crossroads, and really driving a federated approach is essential to both HR, but also essential to the different audiences I want to serve.
It wouldn't be you and I talking about this if we didn't do a commercial to say, tell all those HR people to get in the business, learn your customer. Like the customer can come to HR, but get HR into the business. Yeah,
specifically if you are in a startup mode, try to foster rotation as early as you can. If a corporation is already big, building in rotation might be a bit more complex, but if you're in startup mode, try the different approaches of shadowing, fellowship, etc., because it's very beneficial to both sides, absolutely.
Very beneficial. So what I love about Heike is you are very forward-thinking, you are very innovative, and we were talking about innovation in the future of technology and how you see it, and I'd love for the audience to hear your thoughts.
That thought is actually probably less innovative than most people now expect. It's about securing your own employability. Try to understand what is that makes you thrive. And I've been participating in many of the smaller panels here as well. Choose your topic of obsession. If that's fully tech-based, go for full tech. If that's a people topic, go for the people piece. Ideally, both dimensions converge somewhere in the middle. And I think that makes the substance of all our future. And I can definitely call to everybody to make sure of not thinking tech as an abstract. Tech has a purpose. Tech creates society. That's us. How do we want to live moving forward? I was very intrigued by the author we had on stage yesterday. Yes. It intrigued me with a lot of follow-on questions like, what is an algorithm versus what is the output of the algorithm and how is it used? I think that's the intriguing part for us, and that's where the future kicks in. You could say future is coming. I need to say future is here. That's happening in this room right now. If we bring our positive thoughts together, we can create something really positive and really drive a purposeful life for everybody. if we miss the opportunity, and we saw some of the risk areas yesterday, that's going to be not as much fun in the next few years. So why don't consider that energy that we have and drive it to the positive?
Heike, thank you. Thank you for letting us learn from you. Thank you for all your contributions.
Thanks for having me on stage. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.